Hi, it's Sabina from Scratch, and today I've got another web audit for the rainforest for you. What's a web audit for the rainforest, I hear you ask? Well, it's a web audit of one page on your website, which we do almost for free. The only thing we ask you to do is make a small donation to a rainforest charity in order to protect 1 square meter of rainforest. You're invited to make a bigger donation than that if you can afford it, but we want to keep this as accessible as possible to businesses that are doing great stuff for the SDGs, but maybe don't have a massive budget. And we do one of these audits per month, because really it's a lot of work that goes into it and we're not able to do any more than that. And so we take applications through an application form on our website, and we pick one per month based on the SDGs they support, based on how interesting the business is in comparison to what we've had before. And this month, we've got a really interesting business in the UK. It's called Hubba, and they do business waste collection and recycling, which is quite different from anything we've done in this format before. So I'm really excited to present to you Hubba. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of the audit, just quickly a look at the SDGs that they work towards. One is quite obvious: sustainable cities and communities. Clearly, waste collection and recycling is very important for that. But there's also responsible consumption and production, there's climate action, and there's industry innovation and infrastructure. And so, yeah, 4 SDGs, amazing work. And so we're really delighted. Here's what the Hubba team are going to get besides this video. They're going to get an annotated version of their website. It looks like this, pretty much exactly the same as their website, except for these blue bubbles, where if you click on them, you see a comment that I left with a screenshot and some annotations. You can see here at the bottom, you can click on 30 comments, and then they're all in chronological order. So not necessarily the order they appear on the page, but the order in which I made the comments. But you can also toggle this to the side, and then it's navigation mode. You can click around on the page and nothing happens. There's also an interesting report that goes to them, which is called the Lighthouse Report, where you can see how the page performs in terms of actual performance, speed, and that kind of stuff, accessibility and SEO. And as you can see, this particular website's doing really well in terms of accessibility and SEO, but performance-wise, there are some things that could be improved, mainly around the size of the images, because big images, like the one here at the top, those kinds of images slow pages down. And speed is also important for conversion and for SEO. So it's really worth looking at that kind of stuff. I don't want to go through all the 30 comments with you. I just want to highlight a few things that you might be interested in, in order to learn from them, in order to improve your own website as well. We need to remember this is the home page. It's not a landing page. It's not a product page or anything like this. So anyone could come to this page. People could appear on there, or could happen on this web page on accident, just typing something in, meant a different Hubba, ended up here. They need to be able to understand very quickly if they've come to the right place and what they can expect from this page. That's how web pages that are kind of more specific and more targeted differ from home pages. On home pages, you need to first have that kind of hotel reception type approach, where you need to really make it clear to people whether they have landed in the right spot and what to do here. And I think in general, that's really successfully executed on this page, especially because the hero section here has a really clear value proposition headline. What is Hubba? Well, it's the #1 choice for business waste in the UK. It's easy to understand. Like, if I'm not looking for business waste, if I'm not based in the UK, I can click away because this is not for me. But equally, if I am a small business or a business in the UK and I'm looking for waste collection services, clearly I've come to the right place. But there are things that could be clearer on this page in order to have a stronger sales argument. The Hubba team have been asking us to look at how they could generate more leads. And the first thing I would recommend doing is think about what's the most valuable thing that people can do on the page in order to turn into leads. We have 4 different calls to action on the homepage. And if you want to use your homepage to generate leads, that's too many different calls to action. You should have 1, maximum 2. And ideally, you want to know exactly what the hierarchy is between those calls to action. You need to know what's your number 1 call to action and what's the second best option. And if you want to have more than 1, then make it about the best call to action and the second best option. But if you only have 1, then of course it should be the 1 call to action that's going to get people the farthest in their relationship with you. Looking at this page, I think probably the highest value action that people can take is to get a free quote. And so we see this quote button appear a couple of times on the page. We've got it here, we've got it in the next section, we've got it in the next section, and then things change. Now we have a button that says learn more. And so you're starting really high value, and then you're kind of going down from that, right? So learn more is not as high value, is not as close to making a decision in the customer journey as get a quote is. So I would not recommend starting with a really high value goal that's close to making a decision and then going backwards. Instead, you want to go forwards. So you could offer a learn more button in the hero section next to get a free quote today, just in case people aren't quite ready to get a quote yet. Or you could only offer a learn more button, and then that just takes them to the next section of the page, where the page then auto scrolls, but they're not really leaving the homepage. They're staying in the same sales argument. They're just, it's sped up a little bit, or you can track how many people click the learn more button and gauge interest that way. That's one way to use it. But yeah, you shouldn't move backwards from a quote as your goal. You don't want to go backwards to learn more. Similarly, here we've got a new call to action that's not got a button. The free no obligation audit today, that's like get in touch to find out more. It is like a call to action, but it's not quite clear how that fits into the customer journey. Do I want to get an audit before or after I've got a quote? Like, what's getting me closer to actually getting into business with you? Without knowing for sure, my best guess is that the quote is closer to striking up a real business relationship. The audit is probably 1 step removed from the quote. And so we've got this 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We've got quote, 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 close to the goal. Then we're going really far back to learn more. And then we're getting closer to the goal again by offering an audit. And then we've got get in touch, which is kind of neither here nor there. So in order to get this page more streamlined, in order to give you more leads, the best thing you can do is think about this order of priorities for different calls to action, and then build them up in order of how close it is to actually finishing that customer journey and becoming a real customer of Hubba's. To make it a bit more concrete even still, I would say don't mention the audit on your homepage. Create a landing page that's separate from your homepage, which is all about the audit, where I can learn really crucial things that I'm not learning here at all, such as what's contained in the audit, what does the audit look like, what do other people say about the audit, is it worth my time, is it perfect for me if I'm this kind of scenario, that kind of scenario, how does business waste come into simplifying my supply chain? Would I even say that waste collection is part of my supply chain? How does it all fit together? And what's needed? Like, what do you need from me in order to do an audit? Is it going to be a lot of work for me? How do we set it up? How do I share that information with you? Will you come on site? Will we have a phone call? All of this information and a few examples from what that audit could look like in practice and what other people got out of it. That should be on a landing page where I can sign up for that. And that's one way of trying out how well an audit would work for you as a lead generation tool. And then I would also recommend removing the whole say hello section from your homepage, because really it's not adding anything at this point for several reasons. On the one hand, you've got contact us here as a link in the bottom, in the footer of your website. So that's taking me to a contact us page that's all on its own. It's a completely separate page where I can contact you. But that's not even all of it. You've got your phone number in the header. You've got your email address in the header. You've got this hamburger menu where you've got contact us in there again. So really, there's no reason why you need to have contact us as part of your homepage. I understand that you want to make it easy for people to contact them, but if you're really being of service, you want to make it easy for me to get a quote from you, to get going with this, to try it out, what it might be, working with Hubba as my business waste collection service. So don't distract me from that. Don't make it unnecessarily hard. Take me on a journey where I first learn all of the details I need to know to trust you. And then you give me options, calls to action that let me get that quote from you in order to take things further. And everything that's not directly related to that can go onto a different page. It's absolutely no problem for people to pick up their phone here and use their phone to call you on that number, or to send you an email, or to click once in order to come to the form that lets them contact you. That's absolutely no problem. And plus you've got the chat button here as well. So, there's so many ways I can interact with you. Don't let those ways of interacting with you get in the way of people completing the main goal, which is get a quote. There are a few other things that I've said in my details report, mainly to do with clarity, but also partly with proof and specificity. So I don't want to spend a lot of time going into those details. I just want to say a few things. One thing that I really noticed is that you've got this very clever subheader here, where it ends on, "Will save you money and the environment too." I don't know if you've heard of this quote. I keep forgetting who said it. It was a really famous playwright who said, if there's a gun in the first act of your play, that gun needs to be fired at some point during the play. And similarly, if you make a claim like this, "Will save you money and the environment too," as part of your hero section, you need to fire that gun, as it were, on the page. And yes, the save you money bit, that comes up again. It comes up again here. But the environment bit is a little underserved. It's a very prominent promise in a very prominent place. And so I would expect the whole page to speak more to that topic. If it's not a big selling point for your ideal reader, then there's no reason to put it in the subhead of your hero section. But if it is such a big point for your readers, then you need to have that information front and center. Don't hide it behind a button. I think it's behind this button, "Learn More," where the surrounding information is nothing to do with the environment. And the button itself isn't telling me where you're taking me and that this is anything to do with the environmental promise in the first in the first longer sentence on the page. And if you'd like us to have a look at your own website, then go to our website and sign up. I'm going to quickly show you how to get there. So you type in our URL from scratch.net, then you go to freebies. And there's the first one, website and email audits for the rainforest. Click apply for a website audit. You could also go for an email audit if you prefer. And then there's all the information you need and a button where you can fill in a form. So I hope to get your application really soon. And yeah, let us know if you've got any questions. Bye for now.